This show is a Phonic Media production.
Today on the podcast, we are talking about the shit we do when we have kids. Yes, what we eat, what we buy, and where we end up going. We're going to be discussing that on this week's pod.
Hey friend, how the devil are you?
So we're sitting here now, and honestly, my diary is just so full of dates. It is crazy.
She's so in demand, guys. She's just
no, like for the kids, as in 2 sports days. We've got an induction picnic, then we've got a graduation, a rock concert.
Oh, is that what the picnic is?
Yes,
that's at the school. Oh, I thought that was right.
No,
gotcha.
so it's just. Oh, and then we've got the nursery party, and I was like, God, there's just so much shit.
Is a graduation and the party a different day?
I think they've put it on the same day now,
Right.
but one's in the morning, one's in the afternoon.
What's supposed to go back?
Yeah.
Oh, good God.
Back to school now, yeah.
Oh my God, it's like we've got nothing else to do.
Oh, exactly. And
Well,
then it just
there
got
you
us
go.
thinking about
How lovely that we get to go to all these lovely things.
Reframe. How lovely. But it just got us thinking. I was laughing about the things that you do when you've got kids. Now, it's just gonna be a conversational episode where we're gonna go through some of the things we've been jotting down that I just thought was quite funny, and I'm sure that people can relate. And even if you don't have kids, have a listen, because I'm sure you're going to find it funny anyway.
This one came off the back of a conversation. We were going to have to buy something, weren't we? It's like, you'd only fucking buy this if you had kids, wouldn't you?
Yes, don't worry. We are going to get there.
That is what spawned this episode. But if you have left us a review recently, if you left us a comment on YouTube, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here. If you haven't yet done so, then click whichever platform, Spotify, Apple. If you're a YouTuber, go and leave us a comment, leave us a like. Or share this with someone. If something in this podcast resonates, you're like, fuck me, I was talking to someone else about this the other day. Just share the episode with them. Pass the pod.
Yeah. And also, if you any of your experiences to add on after, please let us know, because we'll shout it out on the next show.
Yes.
One thing's not really to do with this, but I was just laughing as well that our youngest starts school in September. And when our eldest started, I did that thing of like everything was labelled. You know what I mean? Like the school uniform was beautiful. He had
everything was branded.
He had the branded book bag, the PE kit, the hat, the woolly hat. You know what I mean? And with Littlen, nothing. It's all just from like
good old
supermarkets. Nothing is branded.
First time around, you don't know
Poor
though, do you?
second child. It's like we got his report from nursery about how he's doing, and I was a bit like, oh my God, because he's been in nursery like 5 days a week, and Louis never did that, did he? He was only in like 2 days. And
then we had lockdown with Louis.
You were a bit like, oh my God, have we actually had any hand in this boy's education?
No.
Because they were like, oh, he struggles to identify numbers, and I was thinking, I don't think I've ever sat and gone through numbers with him.
No.
Anyway, so we've got a few different areas.
We're sounding like great parents out of this episode, aren't we?
But in all truth, I'm not saying I am. I think I do the best that I think I can do. But I think, when it comes to like homework and making sure that they're these great human beings and that they're ticking all those educational boxes and they're active and this, like, I think there's just a lot of pressure. It's just a lot of pressure.
They're happy, kind little boys, though.
100%. They're happy.
Fundamentally.
They're so happy
and
kind.
healthy.
So
and
I'll
kind.
take that. Okay, so
That'll do.
we're going to go through
Stick that in your fucking Ofsted report.
We're going to go through a few areas. I reckon James going to have some music for us as well. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's gonna be an
okay.
episode where we're gonna be like,
Because, oh my God, what has happened to my mixing desk?
I don't know.
I've lost all of it. Because
I actually love this
we're
song.
doing it for the take a ride, yeah. These kids are alright.
Didn't know the words. I'm gonna give you all of my love.
I watched a video for that. I was nicking that clip off YouTube.
Kylie and Robbie, wasn't it?
Kylie was spicy back in those days. Still is, to be fair.
It's called Kids, isn't it?
Kids.
Yeah, brilliant. Love it.
That's why I chose the song.
So,
yeah, now I'll keep up.
first area is things you end up doing. That is creepy.
Isn't it just?
Never play that again. Oh.
Like
Some
that.
people say the sound of children laughter is nice, and I just find it like hell. like hell.
That says everything about you.
So on that note, things you end up doing, and this is, oh no, I'll put that on there actually. I feel really bad as I've written here, attending crap sports days. Now, don't get me wrong, sports day, I remember when I was little, like, I'm sure it used to be like a really big affair. Like, you take your picnic blanket, you've got your picnic basket, your food, and they'll be down there. Now we're like shipped in, shipped out. You can come back if you want.
Different these days.
And then you follow them around the field in like different segments. It's all team sport. There's no real competition. And Louis, fucking hell.
Maybe we see it through rose-tinted glasses. Maybe it was the same.
But this
back in
is
those
Louis
days.
like on the beanbag. You know, it's just like picking up a beanbag, just like it's like the lackluster. Like
he's not all that sporty. Is our boy.
I've just stood here for like 2 hours to watch.
It should have been today. At the time of recording, it should have been today.
They've had to postpone
it's a washout.
And they've postponed it. And it's now on the same day as George's. We've got this dilemma of like, it's the same time.
It's a pain in the bum, isn't it?
But you do, don't you?
You have to pick a favourite kid.
When your kids are at school, the school, I would say, especially December and then July, just clear your diary for sorts of like concerts and all the sorts of things that go on. Like another thing on this list is I've put the lackluster school performances, like the rock concerts. We say rock. I mean,
it is rock.
It is rock. And I'm being sarcastic and sound like an absolute bitch, but actually, Louis's got a rock concert coming up. It'll be his second one, and they are really nice. But there was one last year, and it was like, if you didn't know the song, you'd be like, what the fuck?
If you hadn't been told what the song was supposed to be.
You'd just be like, it was just noise, a messy noise. And it's like the nativity plays, isn't it? It's like, can we not come up with something different to like a nativity play? It's just so boring.
Especially it's not like a religious school, is it?
I'm playing a second donkey. Oh my God. Like, don't care.
It's a bit weird actually, isn't it?
And it's like every year. They do it every year.
Why can they not just... Why is there not a generic Christmas tale?
Yeah.
That's like non-denominational, that is non-religious.
It's more about them like being grateful and not being greedy and being kind or something like that. Like, there were 3 wise men with frankincense and no.
And the evil king made this pregnant woman drag her ass across a desert on the back of a donkey, and no one would let her in.
Oh, please let her in.
So then she gave birth in a hay bale. Can you imagine? Fuck me. You were there supping up that fucking gas, dipping in that fucking jacuzzi. Imagine you giving birth on a fucking hay bale.
It was a fucking treat, James.
Had a lovely day out,
didn't you? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? That gas and air is like the worst thing ever. It is vile.
Okay, I'm not going to go down there.
Do you know, as you said it, I'm twinging below because I'm right back there.
Twinging below?
I'm twinging below. It's
that horrific. Pelvic floor flap.
Oh. So one of the other things...
It's actually quite a... Like that as a story. No, not talk about that. As a story to like force kids to like... It's weird, like, isn't it?
Like religious schools...
Like ours isn't.
Still do it.
Yeah.
It's just... But it's like, I'm the star. Or I'm the 4th sheep. Like, come on.
And then Jesus and Mary came from Nazareth, like and it was really exciting.
I'm so bad.
Do you know what? If there isn't one that exists,
because I'm a performer.
We should create.
I'm like, come on, give me some jazz hands. Give me some personality.
We should make a generically fitting Christmas nativity that we sell into schools.
I reckon ChatGPT could do that.
ChatGPT could. Let's story of the happiest Christmas.
Let's do it. I don't know.
Little Samuel.
Little
Samuel wasn't.
Say it like that.
Little Samuel wasn't going to get any presents that year because he
was being a twat.
A twat. But he knew he could turn it around by being great to other people, giving back to his community, and really being an upstanding little citizen. You might think that Samuel's too young for all of these things, but actually, little Samuel might be one tiny pebble. But from that one tiny pebble comes a ripple of opportunity.
And we all join hands
Happy Christmas
together. We'll get some songs in there. Is that?
Oh my God, that's Billy Joel, and that's a war song.
Okay, not
about
that
Miss
song.
Saigon. About Saigon.
I was thinking of the Rupert the Bear song. What was that? Bum 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 ba. Don't know what it is.
That's the frog song. Carry on. This is fucking terrible.
Didn't Paul McCartney sing one for Rupert the Bear? Oh, fuck knows. I don't know.
So it's the frogs.
Things you're not doing. Right. Inventing games I've put here.
Go on.
So when you've got kids,
yeah,
especially if you're away and you obviously don't take all your toys with you, and you just think of things to entertain kids in that moment. So, like, you know, like if you're ever out and there's a leaflet, you just give a kid a leaflet. It keeps them happy. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, have a leaflet. Hold this leaflet. Amazing. They're so excited. I've got a leaflet. And when we was on holiday...
I've literally never given them a leaflet. How often are you giving them...
a leaflet. If you go out, here's a leaflet, hold it. Or here's the map to the park. They think it's great. So when we was on holiday in Spain when Louis was little, we was in the hotel room and we had limited, obviously, toys. And Louis found my tampons on the side. And then we created the game, throw the tampon in the bin.
Tampon in the bucket.
So there was a bin and there's
a bucket.
There's
a bucket of sand.
And that's what he did for about an hour. Just throwing my tampons in the bin.
Tampon in the bucket. Great game.
It's like when you decide, I'm going to make a den. I'm going to make a den.
Think about it. Tampon in the bucket is a very bad name for that game.
It really is, actually, isn't it? I'm thinking about it, it's quite rude.
Sure. Carry on, sorry.
When you make a den, you know, when you go, I'm going to make a den, and then your living room, literally, like anything that you can find, like chairs get turned around, you know what I mean? Like all of the, every sort of like blanket, the pegs come out.
You went away last summer. And I decided, and we had like an open staircase. It was in the living room. It sounds really weird, but you could get you could stuff loads of fucking shit in there, like blankets and that. And we turned the entire back half of that living room into like a fucking mega den.
I love it.
It was,
but you just wouldn't do it in any other world, would you?
No.
You just do these random things.
But den building is one of the things that does transport you instantly to being a kid.
Does it?
Like, why is it so exciting to be underneath a blanket?
Fair, I remember I used to sit. This is a memory I remember, and I still can't work it out. I remember me and my brother used to sit in a rabbit hutch. Now, not a rabbit run. So, like, you know, like the big sort of like rectangle mesh. But in my head, I'm like, we wouldn't have fitted under it, would we? I don't understand. I just remember being in the rabbit. You know, like the square rabbit run. So, like, you got a rabbit hutch, and then you got a rabbit run.
Yeah, you'd fit in that as a kid.
Would we?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. I remember sitting in there.
Did you even have a rabbit?
Yeah. I think you got myxomatosis.
Myxomatosis, for sure. You got the maximum.
Maxi.
You got the maximum dose.
Double maggots.
Did he? That's awful.
I don't know. I think so.
I thought they got rid of that. This is a very cheery episode.
Anyway, okay, next section. Got any more music? I love a little bit of a sting. No, that's just horrific.
I do like the sound of a playground. You know, when you get near to the school, you can hear them all play. I love that as a sound.
Yeah, to be fair, when I went and picked Louis up from our school club, I could see him and I was like listening to them all playing. Very sweet.
I've only got this.
Okay, yeah, it's not really got it.
It only actually says the word kids at the end as well. It doesn't even make any sense apart from it's called the word.
Yeah.
It says the word kids.
Any other songs that we can think of?
Not really.
Kids. No.
You got this one. Who let the dogs out?
Yeah, no.
Fine.
So stuff you end up eating. So I haven't got loads of this. So I was thinking about, you know, like when you read how one of the things you do, you'll be serving like your kids food and then there'll be like a leftover chicken nugget or a couple of chips and so you actually end up eating almost like a full meal before you've even had your dinner. Like how many people do that?
Your nan, didn't she used to not do herself a plate of food? She would just finish the scraps.
She would just eat the scraps. She would just eat everyone's scraps. She hated any waste.
Yeah.
So that's what she did. But it's like you're always just like tasting it and like, I don't know, like I do that sometimes. Like I make them dinner. I mean, we try
especially
and eat all
when they're babies, you have to touch it on your lips to see if it's too hot or not. If you end up like half eating loads of fucking
or like eating
gruel.
all the baby food just to like taste it.
Yeah.
Although some baby food's quite nice.
I love the Minesweep thing because we got to like George has decided he doesn't like chips anymore that much.
But he's always been he's never been that fussed on chips. He's quite a healthy kid.
He'll be like, he would just like leave half a plate of chips. So you go, I'll clear the table. You go in the kitchen, but that's what you do then as well.
I know.
You don't register it. You don't sit down and eat the scraps.
You just stood up and then you're eating it.
You just like stuff it before you chuck it in the dishwasher.
Isn't it? It's bad.
So they put on those extra calories.
I know, the extra pounds on the hip. I've written McDonald's. Think of how many times. I mean, we don't go that often, but if we didn't have kids, I don't think I'd ever go. But it's like so convenient, isn't it? Or like the places you eat for lunch are not necessarily the places you would go.
This is the challenge. McDonald's, you go, it's under £5.
Yeah.
You get a meal.
Yeah.
I say meal. You're getting chips, a burger, and a drink. And as if that wasn't good enough, you get a fucking toy. I mean, what is not to like?
I'm actually not
as
against
a kid
McDonald's, and if you look at what goes in it compared to like some of the sandwiches you buy, they are like hidden. I was gonna say death chat's a bit much, but they're like hidden calories that you wouldn't think. I think I've picked up a sandwich for like one of those like New York deli sandwiches, and it was like, I'm sure it was like 700 calories or something. Maybe that's not enough. It was a lot. Oh no,
that's a lot for a sandwich.
It was like
that's probably like half
most of your whole daily allowance of like saturated fat and everything.
Oh yeah, quite often. But if you go to like a Starbucks or a Costa Coffee, you have like a chai cinnamon latte or whatever. Yeah. You'll end up doing 1,000 calories.
I don't have flavoured coffee, but I used to have cappuccino with like the like caramel syrup in it.
Yeah.
It's just so bad.
But also that's the McDonald's is just quick. It's easy, and like I say, they've nailed you, and it's so consistent.
Yeah.
And it's the main thing and that's one of the things that change, I think, most when you have kids, is that instead of it being about the flavour and like really caring about what you're eating, it's like, how quick can I get in?
How quickly can
I get it served?
Can they get eaten?
So they don't kick off between ordering. Because sometimes you've been to like a restaurant and it'll be...
It's so annoying when you go out to eat. And I'm talking like Azizi. So we're not talking like a posh restaurant. So like Azizi is still a semi-fast foodish type place, isn't it? In a way. And then you're there for ages and you're like, and then the kids getting bored. And then by the time yours comes, they're like up and down. Do you know what I mean? It's so annoying.
The Zizzi's that we go to in Chislehurst, it's got like a little back room thing. So we go and sit in the back room so we keep the noise out of the way of everyone else. But it's got like almost like a little mini like platform in what would have in the olden building would have been, I guess, like a fireplace. So that just becomes a stage. You get renditions of fucking "We Will Rock You" while you're trying to eat your pizza, which is now gone cold. Helping them cut their food up.
I've put it as well bland. Now, that's not the case for everyone, because some of our friends, like their kids eat amazing food. Like they all went to an Indian restaurant last week, and I was like, oh my god, that sounds dreamy. Like George is really good, but because Louis pretty bland when it comes to eating, although I say that he's quite good with like tomato based sauce stuff, isn't he?
Yeah.
But you end up just thinking bland. Do you know what I mean? Like making bland food. Whereas poor little Georgie is probably like, I'm just craving flavour. But you do,
I remember with Louis as well though. Do you remember when we went to Thailand and because he didn't want to have anything like spicy, he ate loads of like omelettes, but everyone was like, oh my god, the kid eats a full, because they're like, oh, we haven't got like a kids menu. It's like, no, it's fine. He'll eat a full. He would eat a full adult meal from 2, wouldn't he?
He's always been a big eater.
An absolute beast.
Nothing on for him either. No. And I don't think it's like. I mean, he doesn't eat that bad, does he? He's just not into his fruit really.
Fruit or vegetables.
One thing more on this is the stuff you end up eating is I've put sugary shit packaged to look fun for kids, but really anything that they package up for kids or like bite size. Here's pay more money for bite-sized bits of cheese because they got a wrapper on, like Baby Bell. I'm a fucking sucker for a Baby Bell.
Yeah.
Love a Baby Bell. It's like I'm buying that. Really, I'm buying it because of kids. If I didn't have kids, I probably never have bought a Baby Bell in my life.
I don't think that you're the target market.
But like the sugary shit that they package up, like have these frubes or have these, and it's yogurt, but it's full of shit. But there you go, and you get a sucker for it. You do get sucked into it, or like the cereals you buy.
The other thing to look out for maybe if you're listening and you've got younger children and they're not sort of like at weaning age yet, anything that's blue will fuck them up. There is something in the colour of blue. It's a blue colourant, isn't it?
Where was I last week and someone had a blue, one of those like bubble gum ice cream.
It was a fate. There's bubble gum ice cream.
And this girl's lips were syrup.
I saw a kid have a syrup. She had the blue cone.
Oh my god!
The syrup. She had fucking strawberry syrup. It must be the most sickly shit ever. Strawberry syrup and a flake thing in it. And I was like, that kid is about to go fucking mental. Nuts.
But they say slush puppies. There's something they've now found in that as a little boy who's like really ill because it triggers. It's got some sort of like. It's a chemical, isn't it? It's got something in it that can actually like
crack. It's got crack
basically.
in it.
Anyway, right, next one. Places you end up going. So this is like, gone are the days, even like when you think about travel, right? We've said it before, like the long haul, the Mexicos, all of these like beautiful holidays, stay somewhere that's really picturesque. Like kids do not give a fuck. Is there ice cream? Is there somewhere they can swim? And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Is there maybe a play park.
You start to base your travel on how quick you can get to that hotel from that airport.
100%.
Oh, Magaluf's only 45 minutes away from the Palma Nova. Fucking right, I'm having it.
In there. You do like, and I remember like before you have kids, you're like, I'm not going to change. My life's not going to change.
My kids will have to fit in around me.
Yeah, they're just, and it just doesn't happen before you know it. Like even like the TV. Like when would we ever, when the kids are awake, have our TV on? Never. You wouldn't. But when I was little, it would just be. I mean, I guess I know it's different. You know, didn't have as many channels and that kind of stuff. But I was watching like Trisha or whatever shit that my mum had on. You know, it was just on in the background while you're playing.
I'm friends with Trisha on LinkedIn.
Really?
Like actual Trisha.
Is she actually quite a legend?
Yeah, I think she seems really nice. Very good presenter.
So holidays definitely change, and you definitely because you do, don't you? Because you're relaxing. It sounds silly. If your kids are entertained, you're relaxing, aren't you?
Yeah. I remember when we were holiday reps, and people used to say, "If the kids are happy, I'm happy."
And you're like, what? But now...
Doesn't even make any sense.
And it's funny, as someone who doesn't book a holiday to think, oh, I'm going to put my kids in kids club or I'm going to join in all the activities. Actually, seeing it now as a parent, like going somewhere as probably a bit young, but as they're older, you know, like imagine they were like, oh, but they've got football on, we're going to go and play football for an hour. You'd be like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so, okay. I've got random sports fields for Saturday events like baseball. So we love baseball, don't get me wrong. We signed Louis and George up. Although we've had a bit of a nightmare because we've had lots of parties and all sorts of things and we haven't been able to go. But it's great. But it's that kind of thing. Yet again, like your weekend, like some people, their weekends, it's like Saturday and Sunday.
Oh my God.
Doing stuff.
Paul, who I work with, he's got 4 kids. Yeah. 3 of them play football for different teams and they play at quite a good level. A couple of them play at quite a good level. Like the youngest one who plays football is 8. Yeah. And he's now in academies and there's big clubs looking at him and all this sort of stuff. And he's very, very good and they've got a good little team. But they're now playing in like a Saturday team for like the local league. Yeah. Then there's like a Premier League for this local league. So you're playing that. So I think Paul goes out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he's got at least 1 training session. Some nights he's got 2, so he'll get home from work, take 1 to training, come back, take the next one to training somewhere else. But they're obviously going to be pretty good, aren't they? Yeah, but he's not doing it because they're pretty good. He's doing it because they really genuinely enjoy it. And obviously because they are at a certain level, they get more opportunities to go like train or whatever. He's now doing Saturdays and Sundays. He's got 2 tournaments tomorrow and 2 on Sunday.
See, that's where
it's his whole fucking life.
That's where I worry though, because Louis not particularly sporty.
No.
And I think deep down we're quite happy about that because it means that we haven't got to have that regimented routine. Now, not because I'm not like, oh, I hate routine. I'm not one of them. But sorry if you are
one of them.
I've just totally labelled you and I didn't mean to. But subconsciously, where we're like, always got so much going on, it's almost like a relief. But then like George might come up the ranks, I feel like he's got, you know, like you don't want to label him, oh, he's sporty, but like
he's more physical,
he's a bit more physical, he enjoys running, that kind of thing. I can see if you generally see that they enjoy it and they're good, like you're gonna want to push them and let them do it, aren't you? So of course you're gonna like change your plans. Okay, places you're not going.
Isn't it amazing? Like, maybe it's not amazing, but you drive on Saturday morning, right? You drive, or if you go, when I was doing the marathon training, right? If I was running on a Saturday morning, there are hundreds of thousands of people just stood in muddy fucking fields watching various shit.
Yeah. That's what
baseball,
we do. Same as like
football,
play parks, isn't it?
Rugby, gymnastics.
Yeah,
like the amount of people on a Saturday morning that you'd run past, like everyone's just like these bedraggled, wet mums and dads with like a coffee by the sideline of a football. When I was running in January, it's fucking ice cold.
I'm not even lying. I'm joking here, saying about when you're saying that, then I'm thinking about how many fucking parks do we just sit in so that they can run around. Like Friday nights has become almost like a bit of my social life that I go to the park after school and some of the other mums and dads are there and we all sit and have a chat, and then fucking bonus, the ice cream man turns up and we all get ice cream. Like, it's pathetic to say it, but that's my social life. Dropping them off to kids' parties. Like, Lou's got so many parties. Like, so then you're interacting with the other pet. Do you see what I mean? For that brief exchange. But it's so bizarre how your life then does start becoming them. And then someone say, do you want to go out? Do you want to do this? Well, I can't because he's got a party and then, well, they'd need to go to bed. Like you do, don't you? Yeah. You do start putting their needs first. I've just
Which you've got to as a kid, haven't you?
I've put it extortionate theme parks.
Oh.
You just wouldn't. I mean, we went to Legoland, didn't we, a few years ago? There's quite a few of us who spent a lot of money to get in, and then we all decided to do fast passes. It's like remortgaging your house, and we only got on like 5 things. And then I took him to Chesington World of Adventures, same thing. Spent a lot of money, massive long queues. He only wanted to go on the stuff that was pretty much like I could get at any sort of fairground anyway. And I was like, I've just spent so much money. Like, it's just crazy.
It's not just that, though. It's the stuff when you're in those parks.
I like the Lego.
So, like, the Legoland stuff itself, and then there's, like, pay more to go and get a driving licence, I think it was. And then when we've done, like, the Natural History Museum, what was it, like 15 quid for a fucking photo on a green screen of a shit dinosaur?
Coming into that.
Oh, okay, fine.
Absolutely.
But again, when you're in that moment, and you see their little faces, it doesn't matter, does it?
No, it's all worth it. It's like it goes into buying, like what you're saying. So so we're going to talk about shit you end up buying.
Just on the places that you end up going, I can't wait till we take them to Disney.
Yeah. And
how different it'll be to the experience. 'Cause we've been like 2 or 3 times. As adults, just with like a bunch of mates. It was really, really good fun.
We're going to have to plan that soon though, because they're at that kind of age. Like, you don't want Louis to get too old.
Oh no, I reckon you do. George needs to be
9 and 6 sort of thing.
6 and 9 or 7 and 10.
69.
You talking about Disney World and saying making 6 and 9 jokes?
It's where we decided it was all going to start.
Oh yeah, we could go reenact it in that bedroom.
That'd be weird.
See if it's still...
Anyway, making this CD. So shit you end up buying. So yeah, the first one, you are so right. Those fucking green screen photos of like, pretend you're a dinosaur. We had it at the Shard. Me and Nay had gone up for drinks and they were like, have a photo, but you're just like on a green screen. It's just random. I don't often buy them, but with the kids, I'm like, yeah.
I would never buy that shit. But also, when you go to those places, they've been now customised and trained that they must buy something by your mother and father.
My kids cannot.
They can't walk through a gift shop without having to buy fucking everything.
And I'll
Nanny
say,
and Grandad,
what was the
I'm blaming
best part
them.
of this amazing zoo or this or that? The gift
shop.
Fuck off! It fucking winds me up. They literally cannot, and it's my mum.
No.
She's like, you can see her. She's like, must go to the shop.
I've got to get them something. I've got to get them something. They don't need anything. They don't need another dino.
On photos, though, it's like school
nice,
photos. Like, we've just paid for Lou's group photo. It's actually quite sweet. But sometimes that fucking single photos come home, and I'm like, that is an awful photo. That is awful.
And what's the set?
But of course,
got the solo one and the class one was like 35 quid, isn't it?
And then it's like 30 quid. You get key rings and all this. I don't want a fucking key ring. But you buy it and it's still sat in there. I've never given a key ring. I'll probably do it again. Do you know what I mean? It's just
parents and mugs. We haven't got a mug today, but all parents, your mugs.
Mugs, yeah.
Every single one of us is a mug.
I've got here, this is a great one, especially for us. So, no, first of all, expensive toys. So we're talking about Lego. So Louis really wanted for his birthday this massive Lego set. It was like £100. This Jurassic World
It
one.
wasn't massive. That's the point.
It wasn't massive, but you build like a whole, like...
Jurassic World enclosure, isn't it?
Stuff.
It's very cool as well.
He never fucking finished it. It's still sat upstairs. It winds me up.
No, but because he
much.
doesn't play with toys, how they're supposed to be intended to be played with.
He did build the helicopter part, right? And then he built the dinosaur, and he built another part of it.
And then didn't George smash it?
On a rage, we still don't quite know what happened, but took his plastic sword that we got from Dover Castle and
another
just
gift shop
started
purchase,
smashing up Louis' bedroom, to which this Lego helicopter was one. So that's why Louis hasn't built it. Nothing to do with
that. But then he
all.
also does like to break, and I think all kids do this. They break the leg up and just...
But it's just a bit
Gary
of a slap in the face when you've spent £100 and it's still sat in a box and you're like, why?
Lego, though, this is interesting with kids. Yeah. So some stuff, you go, I ain't fucking paying that. That is just a rip. Lego is expensive. Yeah. But I think it's such good value.
It's so good.
Weirdly, it's
like the
expensive.
Gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, they just
it's beautiful.
Play for hours with it. Yeah, Gary was telling me that there's an app you can get, right?
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
you
fucking
scan
genius.
it and it
so
tells
you put all of your laid out Lego. I mean, how this thing even works. So if you've got like a bunch of stuff, because all kids who play with Lego will have they might have like a few models, and then everything else is just like a bunch of shit you could just fucking tread on. If you spread it out across the floor, put your camera above it, it looks at it, and it will then tell you instructions of what you can make with the pieces that you've got. How cool is that?
So good.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, there's 2 more.
Come on in.
If you are someone who goes to like arcades, you get this. So you go to an arcade on a pier or whatever, and you spend loads of money, you know you're going to lose it at the end, but just so you can win those tickets that come out, that you can then go and buy the world's most plastic shit that you would never buy. Yeah. So you've pumped like every day, like money
50
into
quid
these like machines.
Into
like
machines to get a 3 quid fucking
10p,
plastic
a pound
toy.
here, there and everywhere to get these tickets to then go to the person and say, what can I get? And you need about 1 million fucking tickets to get like, I don't know, a plastic water
there's
gun.
nothing more exciting than winning the tickets.
And
there's
that's
nothing
the thing though that you're
tickets.
not so good at, is that I know that I come from a family where like that sort of stuff is like, oh yeah, no, they get it, they love it, whereas you don't, right?
No.
And there are times when I think, oh, it is shit, but then I'm also very good at going. But I remember when I was a kid, and I remember that feeling of it being really exciting, whereas you don't.
No,
you don't have that connection. So I'm much better. Like I get it. Like there's something nice about winning the ticket. Right, this last thing, it's a fucking genius ploy, really.
Have we got it?
So I'm not going to read any out. Or we could read Lou's out, I suppose.
Okay,
if we can find it. So.
This is such a good business.
A couple of months ago, as part of Louis' homework, he got asked to write a poem, and it could be, there was a few different options. One, I've forgotten the name of it now. His poem is where you've got the word down the side.
Oh, a synonym, isn't it?
No, acronym. Not sure, can't remember.
Acronym.
Anyway, so you've got the word down the side, so his was dinosaur, and then you write something beginning with D, and it goes on. Acrostic, I think it is actually. Acrostic poem. So anyway, they could write a poem. And then we get told that some of them sent a letter that they're entering this competition where some of the children's work will get published in a book. And we're like, oh my God, that's amazing. So if you want to apply, you can just, write that poem out again on this piece of paper. So we did it. And then we get an official letter weeks later to say, Louis' poem has been selected. So I'm like,
published author in the house, you say?
This is amazing. So then I was like,
this is so good.
Is this like just for us? And then my friend's like, oh, that he's been published. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I heard around and a few others hadn't. So I was like, oh, maybe it is legit. Like maybe it is just like a couple. That's amazing. Like so proud. Louis, you're going to be published. Oh. And then the film comes out. Here's your booking order. So it's something like $9.99 for the book, but if you want to, it's £15 or free. You know what I mean? So before I know it, I've ordered 3. So there's one for me, us, one for my mum and dad, and one for Louis, that he can do whatever. So I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And then we wait, and then we get the book, and I'm like, are you fucking shitting me?
Here it is.
So the book's great. Don't get me wrong, the book's great.
It's a great idea.
But I'm not going to lie. It's not like... There's some very questionable literary quality in there.
We thought...
honestly,
we need to give some context. Yeah, I don't know if you're giving the context. So we get... The way the word was written was almost like he's winning a Pulitzer Prize. Yeah. Like he has become a literary genius.
He's so good.
I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. Well done. Just Louis' school. So what they very cleverly do, they obviously go around and they do this to a few schools. 1, 2, 3,
Not even the school. It's just the first few years.
5. So they've gone to 5 schools with this particular edition.
Yeah. So the key stage 1. So it's not even the whole school.
So they've basically gone and done the same model to every school. And bear in mind, Louis has been picked as a not a sponsored athlete, as a published author.
Yeah. There's about...
As have 82 other children in his school.
That's nearly the whole of his pretty much year.
Everybody. And all of us muggy parents have spent 30 quid on the fucking book.
Between 10 and 30 quid.
It's nicely, don't get me wrong, it's nicely put together.
Oh, it's great. But when you open it up, and I'm not going to read it because I can't be that cruel, but when you read one and it was like, I've got a cat and a rat. It's a cat, not a rat. I'm like, what?
I mean, to be fair, you sold me that.
I mean, massively. That weren't it, but it was something like that. And I was like,
can we read Louis?
I'd be like, I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling sad. Okay, brilliant.
Oh, I think the one you were talking about.
No offence, but that does not warrant being published in the book. Sorry if I've just crushed your soul there, but no. Are you going to read it out?
Yeah.
Okay, you've got to do it theatrically.
This is called...
This is Louis' acrostic poem.
Acrostic poem. We're sure it's definitely called an acrostic. Okay.
I don't know. I work with a lot of very clever tutors, so they can tell me. They can correct me.
I need a jingle. I feel like I need a jingle. Have I got anything serious?
Jingle.
All I've got is this.
I mean, that sounds pretty serious to me.
Poemosaurus. So the caustic is dinosaur. The word is dinosaur. In fact, I'm gonna wait. No, I'm not going. I'm gonna just. You can just revel in the beauty of it. Poemosaurus.
That was the name of it as well. Sorry, that was a very clever name. Poemosaurus.
Danger everywhere. I am terrified. N. Noises of loud dinosaurs. O. Oh no, a dinosaur. I like the double use of O there.
Yeah,
S. Spinosaurus is coming this way. He's actually done the little dashes between to build up the fear. A. Run. U. Up there. A pterodon. R. Roar. Tyrannosaurus chases the stegosaurus away. S. Safe at last.
And do you know what? This is where I know I'm just a really bad person, because do you know what my thoughts?
Well done, Louis Lamb.
Do you know what my thoughts were?
Incredible.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But then I thought, he talks about the Spinosaurus and then says the T-Rex chases the Stegosaurus away. So does that mean the Spinosaurus is still there chasing them? And I was like, just stop. Just stop.
You are overthinking this.
Just stop. I can't read another one out.
No, don't.
Because that would just be mean.
We can mock our own child. We can't mock other people's.
I love Louis. I thought it was a really good poem. It was more just the fun that thinking, oh, he's been published, and then getting this book.
Such a good business model. But if you think about it, right?
Oh my goodness.
Can I just get your calculator up?
Get me calculator.
Let's say that every parent. Oh, I don't actually need you to get your calculator up. Every says about 150 poems, 149, but let's round up because it'll make it the math simpler. Yeah. 150 poems, or 150 kids, and let's say all the parents are muggy like us.
At least one.
And they buy, at least one is 1,500 quid, at least two is 3,000 quid, and three, if they all go for three
about
books,
4.5
grand per publication. They're making more than fucking 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, and that's just for half the year. Anyway, there you go. So that's the shit we do when we have kids.
Oh, why am I playing that
jingle?
And on that
note of the shit we have to do, we better go and earn some money so we can afford our children.
Oh my good God. Well, if by the way, guys, we definitely want you to get involved with this week's episode. So please on social at Business Marriage Pod on Instagram, and just Google Business Marriage Pod, and you can find us on all the other platforms as well. Let us know what is the shit that you do for your kids, whether it is the weird things you end up doing, the weird stuff you end up eating, the weird places you end up going, or the stuff that you get forced into buying. Let us know what is the muggiest thing that you have only paid for because you're a parent. So, you know, if somebody else came to you and said, would you like to buy this thing? You'd be like, would I fuck? But when it comes down to your children, we will buy and do any old shit, won't we? So get in touch with the show at Business Marriage Pod across all social media. If you enjoyed this episode, leave us a 5-star review, and if you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up or leave us a comment. Thank you very much. Love you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
This show is a Phonic Media production.